Ready to go?
Okay. Well, welcome this morning to natural negotiating. What does that mean to you? If you hear a natural negotiation. Because negotiation for most people in the arts, and frankly, I think most people in society, is they go, oh, I'm not a very good negotiator. And oh, that's the last thing I'd rather do. And it's usually somebody else negotiate for me. Would much rather have to do that. As my wife says, I don't negotiate, that's why I married him. But don't let her kid you. Get her near Tijuana and you'll see the world's best negotiator. She loves it. I go, it's $1. Give him the $1, who cares? No, it's the principle of the thing. I have no interest in that principle. It's negotiating is something that most of us don't like to do. Why? Because there's one word, I think, that stymies us, that keeps us from wanting to negotiate. Rejection? Possibly rejection. I think that's part of it, but I think it's conflict. We don't want to get into conflicts. And negotiating conflicts, we assume, are the same thing, and oftentimes they are. And conflict resolution is something we don't want to have to deal with. And so what I find is in negotiating, if you can have a natural negotiating attitude, if it can somehow be just as natural part of you as smiling, as waking up, as doing anything else, you don't even think about it, you don't even know you're negotiating, if you can do some of those things, maybe not all of them, there will be certain things that you'll say, okay, I need to negotiate this, but you'll be in a frame of mind naturally that it becomes much easier. You don't even worry about it. And that's why I call it natural negotiation. And I really developed this for singers. I find with most business people, they kind of like to think that they're not doing it naturally, that they're doing it calculatingly and planned and all that sort of stuff. But actually, the good ones just do it naturally. They don't even give it a second thought. And frankly, a lot of the things we're going to talk about, you probably already do and don't recognize it. So that's our purpose this morning, is to bring that out in you. Because why do you need to learn to negotiate?
We don't sing for free.
What?
We don't sing for free.
You don't sing for free. There's the one thing. And we've learned what that means is you get creative and find ways of how your value and their value can be interchanged in a very easy way that both enjoy. So you all understand that principle by now. But why else? Yes?
We're providing a service.
You are. Yes, you are. And because nobody else is going to do it for you right now, right? You may not have a manager yet. In fact, you probably don't have a manager. When are you going to get a manager?
After you've already gotten the career.
Yeah, after you've already gotten the career up and going. Right. Who's going to do that? You are. That's the reality. That's the reality. I've seen various places. I don't even know, do they still have managers who you can hire, you pay them to be your manager?
There are some.
Yes.
Yeah. And there is some value in that. I don't like to put down any kind of industry. That can work out, but that can become very expensive. It is also something that is not terribly motivational on their side. They're going to get paid regardless. You want somebody to negotiate for you who's going to get a piece of the action. You would love it. I dealt with lawyers who I had to pay by the hour, and I dealt with lawyers who were on contingency. And the one who was on contingency, who got a piece of the settlement, boy, they work hard. They work round the clock because it's in their own self-interest. And something that everybody should understand is people always work best from their own self-interest. Right? Any disagree with that principle? No. I mean, we all do. Why shouldn't we? Now, that doesn't mean we're selfish. And for husbands, I always tell them, what's the most selfish thing you can do? Is treat your wife great.
Oh.
Because it comes back tenfold. It doesn't matter how many good things I do for Elizabeth. She does, you know, twice or 3 times those things back. And so, you know, great. I think those odds are pretty terrific. I keep telling guys, I find most wives are that way. Not all, but most. That's the way the situation is. So, we're going to talk about natural negotiation. Okay? So, let's start off with the first principle. You get what you negotiate, not what you deserve. And if you come at it with that attitude, you won't be disappointed. Because you realize this is probably where it needs to be. I'm not ready for anything else. It's okay. Any questions on that? Well, let's move on. All right, here's a practical situation. What I want to do really quickly, and time is of the essence here, I would like you to get into groups of 4 or 5. I see 4 people here. I see about 4 people there. And I want you to discuss this. This is a true life story. I got a phone call one time, and the lady in New York City, she had, you know that in the subways you can get your own little a title up there where you can go and sing, and it's your place to sing, busking. And she was approached, and she was standing there singing her opera in the subway, and people were making nice donations and all that good stuff. She noticed off to the side a very well-dressed man. It was winter time, in a heavy camel-colored coat. You can see it, in a nice hat. And he just kept watching her, and other people would come and go and leave, and he'd take notes. Wouldn't you be a little curious after a while what's going on there? And so finally she finished, and he came up to her. And these are the words that he spoke. The gentleman I work for wishes an opera performed at his home for his friends. He prefers La Boheme. Can you do that show, and what are your rates? So she said, because we had just had a little seminar discussion, and I said, if you get into a difficult situation, call me. So she went over to the phone and says, hang on just a second. So she called me. She says, what do I do? Okay, forget that she called me. The question is, what would you say if this very interested man with these parameters asked you on the spot, can you do that show, and what are your rates? Okay? You have 2 minutes as a group. Get in groups of 4 or 5. Come up with your one single answer. And by the way, do not give me 3 or 4 answers. You get 1.